Hello, hello. For the playback. We'll have to do in here. Tube. Just getting things set up in case anyone jumps on here. Sorry about the sound of my dog chewing on his ball. Again, if you're watching on replay, let's turn this down. Just gonna back this up. All right. Here we are. I'm going to wait until anyone pops in here, and then we can start going through some stuff. All right. This is one of those Alani drinks. I don't know, it has vitamins and tons of caffeine. I have a bunch of stuff I want to do tonight, so I figured it's time to do some late night caffeine. What could be better? If you're watching this on the replay, you guys, Ernie, could we maybe not chew on the ball full volume? Apologies if you can completely hear that. He's just grinding away on his ball, so we'll let him for a little bit. I thought I would go through. All right, I don't know if you guys have heard of something called ACEOs or artist trading cards. My friend Holly, who also has a YouTube channel, had told me about them initially, like, I don't know, months and months ago. And then I saw a video by, well, a few different YouTube creators talking about the ACEO. Ooh, that's loud. And the idea came to me. I have so much art. I have, look at this, you guys, sketchbooks upon, ooh, I know this is nothing unique to me. I know all of you also have so much art, but sketchbooks upon sketchbooks. There's like 3 piles like this guy, and then this is a basket of like mostly, I think, good art that I like. This one is a basket of all the art that I don't really like. Oh, and then let's see. Oh, guys, this is a basket of stuff that I really like. So I thought I would go through it tonight with you guys, and we could talk about what I should do with some of it. Like, I saw a video by Christy Rice, actually, where she was cutting up her old art that she didn't like and using it to incorporate into other pieces of art to make ACEOs that are a little bit abstract. Ernie, just one second. Let me see if I can get him to. Ernie, come here. Bring your ball. Come here. Bring your ball over here, honey. Ernie. Well, Toon came over here now. So that's something. You can see him like right over there. At least you can see the activity at hand, not just hear it. It's deafening to me. I can hear it. Anyway, so let's get into it, I think. Maybe we can, sorry. I was thinking, well, I think I'll save some of it. Trying to think of the best way to go about this. If I should start with, this sounds like a Superman theme or something, this music. Let's skip that. Let's go real far back in the catalog, shall we? Nope. All right, I think we're there. Ernie. Ern. I'm glad no one's in here because that would be really rough. If you're watching this on replay, skip ahead. I'll put in the comments the timestamp for when the live actually starts. But all right, let's see. Maybe we can do a bit of a tour of some recent artwork that I've really been loving. I'll start with that. And then we'll go back to more of a middle. All right, no, we're going to start with this. These pieces. These are much older pieces that, okay, sorry. That this is probably middle of my artwork career. Starting back in 2021, I began creating watercolor art, and I have a whole story about that on my channel. And if you are at all interested, I encourage you to watch it. I think it's a kind of a fun one. And this is just so distracting. I apologize. Just one sec. Come here. Come here, little. Come here. Come here. Ern, bring it over here. Come here. Let's bring it over here. Oh, I'm just crawling around on my floor. That's all right. Hi. Oops. Okay. We got it. We got it now. Do you want this? Go get it. All right. So 2021, I started making art. And then in the last, let's see, and it was always portrait art that interested me, but I didn't really know how to draw portraits. So it took a while to really get there. And when I say a while, I mean it took until maybe just this year for me to feel really comfortable with my portrait art and learn how to make portraits that look at all like the way that I wanted them to look. I had such a difficult time translating the visual of the human head into a drawing that it was definitely, I mean, it took me a lot longer to feel comfortable with it, let's say, than it should have maybe, but I didn't start drawing at all until I was almost in my 50s. So, you know, it takes time. So let's see, this was about, maybe I'll start, guys, I'm just all over. I just am not sure what to start with. This one was about 2023. So we'll start with this guy. We got this portrait, and you can see that it's a decent little piece of art. They're somewhat abstract, lots of abstract in this. But I was clearly struggling, right? This isn't like great. And a lot of these are, this is my sketchbook. So a lot of these I just, oh gosh, the eyes are just real messed up there. So a lot of these I was just kind of playing with to try to see what I could and couldn't make. You know, we spend a lot of time just vacillating back and forth between the things that are good and the things that don't look so good in our sketchbooks. You know, that's what they're for. So this is gonna be unwatchable if he keeps doing that. Just a second. Come here. Come here. Come on. Let's go over here. I don't know why they pick the one moment that we have to be doing something that others can see to like decide to make all the noise. It's very frustrating. Anyway, this is another one, and this is getting better. You can see that this is kind of, it's reminiscent of a human head and torso. We're getting somewhere. don't worry. If anyone else comes into the live stream at all and anyone's interested in watching this, I'll really start talking about things. But I think it's smarter just to wait until I have someone to interact with. Here's one. There we go. So this is the one from that video where I do talk about that topic of learning to make art. And oh, now my dog is snorkeling. This is the other dog now making all the noise. So, oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, so you've seen this one in that video from long ago. I was going through a time where I was kind of getting into the groove at this point of like figuring out my style, figuring out how to create faces and heads that looked like faces and heads. Oh, I think at one point I was trying to put leaves over this. This was from a video too. This was from a time when I decided to try to put down a bunch of background colors and marks and then see what those colors and marks led me to making. Like just follow kind of the imagery I saw there and build upon it. So that was a fun one. I don't know, I just sort of started, Ernie just tripped over the wire. That's the charger for my phone. Pulled it out. Okay. I should have put the dogs out. Anyway, hi Ike. So glad to see you here. I've been just sitting here talking to myself and laughing like an idiot at all the things I was ill prepared to do with this live stream. It's so great to see you. It must be so late there. Are you home? Or do you have to work tomorrow? Oh, Ernie's making a horrible mess. Apologies. He just poured water all over my keyboard. I have a little, yeah, I think I should have done this at the desk. I don't know why I thought sitting on the floor with the dogs in here would be at all useful. You're on holiday tomorrow. Praise God, Ike, because if you weren't here, I'd keep talking to myself and complaining about the dogs. So I'm really happy to see you. And that's wonderful that you're on holiday. That's great. I hope you have something nice planned or some way to relax and just enjoy the day, because it sounds like ever since quite a while back you've been super busy with work. So I'm so happy for you. All right, I guess because, well, anyway, let me go forward now. All right, guys. Now we're going to move into another sketchbook. That was some middle of the ground stuff. Here are some of the earlier pieces that, this is the dog in question. Okay, but let's go to some sketches. This piece right here. This one I loved so much when I was first starting out. I thought it was just the pinnacle of glowy watercolors. Guys, can we not argue and jump on each other? They're just running all around, and Toon is always like snorkeling, so apologies for that sound. That's her playing. I know it sounds like she's beating him up, but she's not. Toon. Oh, she has him pinned on his back. Okay. Guys, Toon and Ernie. Toon and Ernie. Toon and Ernie. Toonie, come here. Come here. Come here. This is so bad. Oh my goodness. Don't ever live stream. Okay, this piece. Loved it so much. It took me like 4 days to paint. And if you can see the eyes, they're very, I just really worked hard at getting the eyes to have a lot of depth. And of course, anatomically, this isn't a good piece by any means, but I was just learning color theory and how to put it all together, and a little bit about composition. I could have done better with that. But anyhow, I loved this piece and I still do. I even put it up on my Pinterest account. All right, so there's that one. Anyway, you guys, oh, this one, this is my best friend growing up. Uh, I didn't really do her justice and I didn't quite finish it. But anyway, little Julie. And you can see I tried to replicate that first piece and with gemstones, and she ended up just looking like a wonky person with sticky outy ears. So it just didn't work out. I had no consistency to my art whatsoever. Here was a piece. And I'm just kind of showing you this to give you an idea of like sort of from whence I came. This one, I really enjoyed the sunflowers in this one. And clearly I'm never sticking to like the most conservative skin tones. I'm always trying to utilize that concept in art that says that it doesn't matter what colors you use as long as the value range is acceptable. So yeah, there's that. Well, we're not, a lot of these aren't portraits as I flip through, they're just like other kinds of work I did. So there's kind of no point in showing them to you. That one looks very hellaciously scary. And I really thought it was good in the beginning. This is what I'm saying. I had a long way to go. And I think I showed this one on another live stream. I was watching Better Call Saul, and that was Saul Goodman. Saul Goodman. We remember this, right? Okay. Anyway, so that was that. And then this was just this really weird piece. I don't know. I often would start off making something and get really into the color of the piece. And one aspect of, sorry, I'm constantly like checking what I look like in the camera just because it's so strange to be on camera with my face like this. Okay, what was I saying? I would enjoy one piece of the art and then instead of noticing that something was really off in the piece, I would just keep on adding to it because I was having so much fun. And then I would finish it and be like, look at this great thing. And then it would be one of those pieces. And I'd be like, oops. So, all right. So let's move on. I'm going to save my earliest and most recent pieces, I think, for later in the live stream. Or if anyone has questions about anything, I'll share. Some of these I've already shown you guys in other videos. Whoops. There are a lot of them of my husband, my poor husband. Look at this. Poor guy. He is so handsome, and this is what I did to him. I did him really dirty. I'm sorry. But these were the beginning, and I thought these were very good in the beginning. I was super excited about them. Let's see where we are here. These are not even portraits. All right, I've shown you guys that one before. All right, let's move on to something. We'll go to the, I mean, there are 5 of you here. So let's go to the, I was talking about showing you this piece in, this is my very first attempt at a portrait. If you want to see it, you're in the right place. This says sketchbook. Can you read that, or is it going to be backwards? Sketchbook 3/2021 to 3/2023. So this was a sketchbook that took me like 2 years to fill in. And I started painting in 3/2021. So this was the very first one I ever made any kind of art in. Ernie, why don't you lay down, honey? Ernie, Ernie, come here, hon. There we go. All right. So here we go. The very first page were just like some little collage pieces. This was me. It was like a self-portrait. I did it on tracing paper actually, and then put it on this other kind of paper. This was a floral I had done as a brand new artist, and just some little florals. And you can tell that it looks very much like it should look as a brand new. Oh, Ernie's walking through my plug. Ern, come here, back up, buddy. There you go. As a brand new watercolor artist, you can see like I was just like mushing the brush into it. I didn't realize I needed to like pick up a bead and drag it, and I don't even think this was watercolor paper. All right, you ready? You ready? Oh, and then if you saw that video I was talking about earlier, the one where I talked about my very first art making experience, this is that giraffe I first made. You may remember the story if you've seen the video. Oh my gosh, he almost drank out of my caffeine containing beverage. Can you go? Can you go, bud? Thank you. All right. Next we go. Oh, where did it go, you guys? That's a lot of buildup to not actually show it to you. Sorry. Okay, ready? Ready? This is she. This is my very first portrait experience. Now, I had a photo of it that I had taken that I showed to Susan recently. Um, and I realized that the photo was not the finished piece, the quote, finished portrait. But this is it. So if any of you are learning to make portraits, learning to paint, and you're not sure if you can ever get there, not that I'm there, but I'm telling you, like after 5 years, I've come a long way. And this was done that very month, like in March of 2021. This is what I was painting. And for comparison's sake, maybe I'll show you something from like one of my more recent, let's see. Well, you probably, if you've been on the channel, I'll show you my very favorite portrait to date. And it's this one. It is my very favorite portrait that I've ever painted. It most exemplifies exactly what I see myself making, what I want to make. Not that every other portrait, the more realistic pieces, aren't meaningful to me or that I don't enjoy them. But this one, something about it, it's just like perfection. And I think leaning into this in the near future is where I'm going to be going. Though, let me show you some other stuff we've been working on lately. Give me a moment. I'm going to exit my own live stream just so I can find my sketchbook and show you guys some of this stuff. I don't know why I left it all the way across the room before I was. Oh, and I'm going to pull some pieces off the wall here. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Whoa, things are flying. Things are flying everywhere. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Ooh. I have things hanging up that I really like too. All right, so this is my most recent sketchbook. And I don't know if you've seen this one. This is more akin with kind of where I like, I talked about this in another live stream. I really love this piece, and this is kind of what I want to be making. So let's look back to Ernie, move please, honey. That first piece. We'll compare them, shall we? Oh, I don't know if it's even, now I've lost which sketchbook I put it in. Oh, this one here. I mean, honestly, they're not that dissimilar, right? 5 years time, you'd think I'd come a lot further than that. I don't know. And then did I show you guys this one? I don't, oh, Ernie, honey. This guy, this girl. And then let's see where we're at with these other ones. Ooh, guys, wash portrait, first one. Haven't added the highlights in yet, but I think it's coming along okay. A little bit okay, right? Right. We're getting somewhere. All right, let's go to, where are we at? So I don't know if I ever showed y'all these. This was a piece. These are also self-portraits. That feels very narcissistic, but I promise you it's not. It's just I have the most easy access to my own face. And these were recent. This was all vermilion and yellow. This was like a raw sienna and maybe just raw sienna. And then this one was like a phthalo blue with a little bit of vermilion mixed in some places, and also some Payne's gray, I think, or I can't remember now. But yeah, these were within the year I've made these. All right, so these are pieces that, yeah, that I really like. Oh, guys, this one isn't a portrait, And this is from a video, but I don't think I ever really showed this piece in great detail. It's certainly not finished. When I painted fruit in my Sennelier video, I love this. I made this to demonstrate the way that Sennelier comes through in, oh, thank you, Ike. You like the self-portraits? They were very fun to make just because I had so much access to choosing different positions to hold myself in, you know, to like take photos and then paint from them. Um, yeah, but I really wanted to prove with this one um, that Sennelier truly is bolder and clearer and more vivid than other watercolors when placed in multiple layers. And so each of these fruits has about, I would say, like 5 layers to them. And they're just clearer and clearer and more vivid and bright with additional layers, is what I learned. Anyway, that's not a portrait. But I was thinking this would be great for the ACEOs, or the artist trading cards. That's the whole 5 hours ago when I started talking. I was thinking that artist trading cards would be really fun to make out of all these portraits and things. And I don't know if you know anything about them, but they're, I need to stick to 3 colors or less when I use watercolors. It's a very smart way to start out. 3 colors, a yellow, a blue, and a red of any shade, and just mix them together. You can always get a skin tone from those 3 colors. Um, oh, I'm sorry your last attempt was awful. I would love to give you a lesson sometime if you want, or like help. We could FaceTime, and I can certainly offer some advice if you ever want to. Certainly no pressure at all. Ernie's just like all over me. No pressure at all, but like if you ever, if anyone ever wants to, let me know and we can FaceTime. And if you're struggling with your watercolor painting, I would love to offer tips, or message me in my comments or send me an email. I mean, I won't charge you anything. I remember when I was learning how hard it was, and I struggled so hard. And if somebody had just like told me, oh, do this, or like 5 little easy things that pertained particularly exactly to the problems I was having, I feel like I would have been like good to go. But I struggled and struggled and struggled, and no one addressed these very specific niche. No, Ernie, don't drink that. He didn't drink it. It's okay. These very specific niche things with me. And because I'm so rigid, kind of, and I'm so, what's the word? It's hard for me to figure things out that are really obvious to everybody. Um, I feel like it's like, oh, thank you, Evie. Hi, Evie. I'm so happy you're here. Evie, we should go on a live stream, and we could do a lesson. Oh my gosh, not that you need a lesson or want one, but because you're a beginner, I mean, you're probably getting to intermediate at this point, but I would love to do that. If you ever want to, just, I keep looking at myself in the camera instead of looking at the camera. If you ever want to, I would love to do that. So please let me know. I won't push. I'm just saying, if you want to, I am here for it. Okay. What were we even talking about? Um, Oh, how I'm so rigid, and I'm so you would love it. Yeah, we'll plan it. We'll plan it. Okay, cool. You too, Ike. Anyway, but I know, Ike, I know that you're like very private, and you're very like uncomfortable like talking in that way. So I would never push. I'm just saying, if you get to the point ever, Ike, where you want that, you let me know. I'm here for you 100%. Okay. Back to the original point. ACEOs. They are artist trading cards, or artist trading cards, or art card. Now I can't remember the name, what they stand for, but they're 2.5 by 3.5 inch little cards that you can make, and you can just take like your art. Like, this is a piece I made. It didn't come out good. This is quite old. This is about 2 or 3 years old. Um, that maybe I could cut it and do something cool with it, like just like her eye right here, and like maybe the side of her mouth or something. Um, or I'm just gonna pull from my bin of things that of my practice bin, like this floral. you know, it's big, but I could cut like a piece of it and then go over it with fine liner and maybe metallic. You can do anything, and then you can either give them away or you can go onto a site like eBay and list them for like $2 a piece. And these, oh, now he's gonna play with his toy and fling it around and make a lot of noise. You guys, I'm so sorry. It's not gonna be quiet, and I can't really do anything because it's his toy. All right, anyway, it allows you to go and buy someone's art, someone's original piece of art in this age of digital and AI. You can go onto eBay and look up ACEO and watercolor, for example, and you can find hundreds of watercolor artists that are selling their individual original pieces of art, and you can buy them. Ernie, what are you doing? Come over here with mom. Come here. This is him when he was a puppy. Chick with ADHD gets onto live stream. Danger. I know I'm jumping all over the place. This is Ernie when he was baby. All right. And you can buy them for like very inexpensive, and it's definitely something I want to do, and then frame them in little frames and hang them in like the hallway or by the doors. I mean, can you imagine owning a piece of art? There are a lot of YouTube artists that I love, and they are selling their ACEOs or original art pieces on eBay for like $20 for this little piece. How, I mean, I don't have the kind of money to like afford original art from a lot of people. I did commission a friend, Mello, to make a portrait for my husband. It's framed, it's downstairs. And anybody that I love the work of and really want to support, I will, you know, save up and do that or do it for a special occasion. But I just can't see buying it, just to like having that kind of money just to put towards art every day, right? Nobody does. We just don't. I mean, some people might. Anyway, but this is a way you can own art of people you respect and like the way that they paint or whatever. And also people could buy my art. But so I'm thinking about doing that with eBay, but then secondarily, I'm thinking about cutting up pieces like, for example, let me find a good example of a piece that I have in here that would work well for that. Sorry guys, I should have planned better. But like something like this, like I could take it and like just crop it and do a little, I don't know, or and I can put Bible verses on it. Okay, like I have some pieces like this that I've worked on, like florals. This is actually not finished, obviously, but this could be like multiple artist trading cards. If I did finish it, I could make like 7 of them, write a Bible verse on it, and then just go put it on somebody's car under their windshield, you know, or give it to someone as we're walking through the mall, just hand it to them, or the cashier at the grocery store. You know, it's just a way to spread love using your art. And so those are 2 separate ways. And like if you've been on here since earlier, I have like 5 bins sitting here of just all of my art that I've made over the last 5 years. And it's really building up. And I'd like to find something to do with it. All right, so let's look at some of this. Some of these are just kind of crazy. Like this is on real crappy paper. I wanted to see how far I could push the Grumbacher paper. Terrible, right? You guys, this isn't organizing anything. I'm not getting any more organized because I'm all over the place, friends. Hang on, we're getting there. Let's go through the good stack. The good stack. The stack of stuff I like. All right, this piece is a portrait. This one was from, when did I do this one? It was like 2 years ago, I think. A year, yeah, about 2 years ago when I started the channel. My channel's just over 2 years old. So I think it was around then. This is I worked really hard on the background being really you know, light, and then here it's quite dark. and then also her expression. But I messed up the ear a lot, and so it's just totally overworked. Aside from that, it could have been a really neat piece. With all of these, there are just little things wrong with them that make them an experiment instead of, you know, an actual piece that I would be proud of. Here's one I've been working on. I think it's so cute. A little mouse guy on poppies, but then it looked like he has testes like hanging down. You know, mice have big giant testes. If you just came into the live stream, this is going to be the moment that you're like gonna want to click out. You're like, nah, just talking about testes, folks. All right. You guys, this is a portrait that I made. Let's see, probably in my first. This is probably year 2, probably 2022. And you can tell that the dimensions of her face obviously are very off. Like the anatomy isn't good. But again, I worked so hard on the eyes on this one just to make them really pop. And then I have around her head is Colossians 3:17. And then there's like a lot of little illustrations also up in there. I love stars as a theme in portraits and paintings of all kind, in case you hadn't noticed. And I was kind of working on line weight. I don't think I really understood yet what I was doing, but I thought it looked cool. And like I said, these are all just pieces that I find interesting and worth making more stuff out of. Like this would be perfect for an artist trading card. Oh, thank you, T. Thank you. Thank you. I enjoyed it. It took me like a week to make that painting. And then I realized that the anatomy was all off. And I was really sad because I put so much work into it, but it was an experience. And we learned from each and every one of these portrait experiences or painting experiences. This would be a great thing to use for the artist trading card. Like it's a painting that didn't work out. I could just use like this much of it, a 2.5 by 3.5 inch rectangle, and kind of finish it with various accoutrements. And then that could be that, you know? We have to have, I feel like, what's the point of making art if we're not using it to bless other people in the world, you know, to give to other people or sell to people? Certainly that's an option too. Pardon me. But, um, you know, we if we just keep it all locked away in our homes, it's not serving anyone, you know, and it's beautiful. Even if it's like, you know, I'll show you like this one that didn't turn out at all. Okay, she's not exactly beautiful. And her chin was like this long, so I was going to see if I could cover it with a scarf. This is a couple this is probably within the last year I did this, guys. Okay. Should we follow that with something a little bit better? Did I ever show you this or show this on my channel? I don't know. I was working on doing different like bits of anatomy or little hair study. This is a little pansy. Is that what those are called? Um, anyway, these would be cute artist trading card. You could like write a verse here around the ear, or you or I could do that. Or some kind of a quotation that would lift somebody up. This was a very failed portrait, very failed. But again, I learned a lot from it, that I tend to get very muddy and overworking. My sketch was off. You can see the anatomy was off. So it just throws everything else off. With watercolor, unfortunately, your anatomy has to be right or everything is going to be not right. This is one I did of my husband. Poor hubby. He looks, I don't know why I made the back of his neck look, it wouldn't look like that. Anyway, the colors are weird. Everything's weird with it, but I loved it initially. And then I, you know, got a little further in my art process and was like, oops, maybe not so much. This was a piece I made a video from, or I made in a video. The one about our house fire. It's not a great video, but it's a great story. If you ever want to go watch that. Ooh, this has a great story behind it. Not an excellent portrait. The anatomy again is kind of like weird and her eyes like winging out to the side. It is so hard, or it was so hard for me to get portraiture right. Do you ever repaint something and you did parts better on the first one when you didn't know what you were doing? Absolutely, because the pressure isn't on. You're just working on it and you're like, oh, we'll see how it turns out. And then you love certain things about it and you try to improve upon it. And the second one just is a nightmare. That's usually the way it goes. And I've learned not to repaint something a second time unless I've let a significant period of time go by between. Otherwise, the second one never turns out. Okay, so this piece was a breaking point for me. I learned so much. This was 2022, 2023. It's had to be 2023. I wish I dated my work back then. I never did. But I know when I did it based on other things that I can look back on. Like when I took the photo of it originally, I always take photos of everything just to have. And this was, I did, if you've ever seen my video talking about painting the light, it's one of my first videos, probably in the first 5 or 6 videos on this channel. And I did a commission for a coworker, and she gifted me, it wasn't even a commission, she just wanted some paintings, and I said I would do them, but I couldn't guarantee anything. I didn't charge her anything for them, of course. And one of them is the baby I did in that video, and she gifted me these watercolor pencils, these Derwent watercolor pencils, and using those I learned how to use watercolor truly, like how to do the values, and I understood about layering. It was something about using those pencils and just coloring gently with them, wetting the pencils, letting them dry, doing another layer, that I began to finally grasp layering watercolor. And after that happened, I was able to just do the exact same thing, making light layers and letting them dry. But up until that point, that was when I was initially making stuff like, let's see if I can find something to show you. Making stuff like, this is an old one. Gosh, can we find an example anywhere now that this is the whole thing the stream is supposed to be about? This isn't old enough, I don't think. That is interesting. This is an old one. It is old enough. Let me see if there's anything in this sketchbook that I can show you that sort of is an example. I don't know. Let's look here. Guys, I promise I have it. It's just, ooh, the Kilimanjaro. This one was a good one. She flips through and doesn't show anything to anybody. Oh, this was my first attempt with gouache. What do we think of that, guys? That's kind of sad. This was my first attempt with gouache, like years ago, not my first recent attempt with it. This was probably like 2 years ago. Gosh, or was it even less? No, it was probably close to 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago. I don't know. It was my first attempt with gouache. This still from the ones that Susan had sent me when I very first tried it, and then I thought, oh, I can't do that, and went away from it, and then have come back to it since. Ooh, I forgot I did this. This was like a fun little like sunsetty thing. Oh, this was the practice for that. Okay, if this might help. This was what these kids look like very crazy. This isn't the what I gave her, but I used to like the colors were all really weird. It's on the back side of this sunset I was doing. And just nothing looked, everything looked muddy and crazy. And this is me trying to hand draw something from 2022 or 2023. Um, it always looked really crazy. So we're just not. And then I went to tracing for years after that, and I only just learned how to went back to drawing in the last year and really learned how to solidify my drawing skills on a replicatable basis. Um, all right, so here's one that I did for, I gotta cover this up because it has like my city in it. I probably shouldn't show this one fully. Never mind. You guys, I illustrated a book, believe it or not, in the last year, for a clinic I worked for. They asked me to do watercolor illustrations for them, and it actually got published. So if anyone wants to ever hear about that, maybe we'll talk about that sometime. But it's kind of, I'm not a real big fan of being like, I did this or I did that. But that was a wonderful experience. Here's a Polina Bright master copy. What do we think of the bird, guys? That's pretty sad. As you can see from this, my artwork is all over the place. What I think mediates whether it looks good or not is one thing. And this is a conclusion I've come to. It's where I am in my head and my mental health, my hormones, how good or bad I'm feeling. My artwork and my ability to create a portrait from one day to the next is um, drastically varies based upon how I'm feeling on one day to the next. So if I'm feeling confident and capable and good about life in general and myself, and I have an appropriate amount of sleep and all the things, I can paint something that I'm really proud of kind of consistently every time I sit down to paint. If that isn't the case, if I'm feeling bad or if I'm feeling unwell, unrested, um, not confident, my art takes a massive downturn. And it's like a direct representation of how I'm feeling. And now that I know that, I understand that when I'm feeling terrible, that is not the time to dive into a really challenging piece of art, like ever. Um, it is instead the time to make stuff like this, where I can just do shapes and colors. And this, so much of this isn't finished because do we always finish pieces? No. As artists, I mean, maybe you guys do. You'll have to tell me. I feel like the majority of the time, though, I'm just painting because it feels good to paint something. Here's a bird. A bird. I don't think it's great. I had fun doing it, though. It's a crow, I think. I don't have much of a love for painting birds. Let's see. You're not going to believe this, folks, but I'm actually in the middle of filming and editing a video, an actual video, not a live stream that is ill prepared like today's. I just wanted to share some of my artwork with you guys and talk about ACEOs. Has anyone else been making ACEOs, like other than people on YouTube or with YouTube channels? I know you guys are watching YouTube and some of you have channels, but have you seen people in the real world making them? Have you guys thought about making them? All right, another portrait that I worked like 20 hours on only to discover the anatomy was wrong. Ready? Yes, I know. There are some really good things about this piece, but the anatomy ain't one of them. I had fun with it. Look at the background. I don't know if you can tell. It's, I'm trying to hold it in the camera. Let's see. I love this part here, like under her chin. If only the anatomy, right? I mean, I guess she could just have a very strangely long face, and the eyes could be strangely misshapen. The eyes and getting things lined up. Gosh, I struggle. Who else? I mean, I guess there's only a couple of you in here, but if you struggle, I'm with you. With portraits, you really have to have everything lined up just perfectly. If not, it's the whole piece is shot. And maybe there's something wrong with me because it's always misaligned. Not anymore, but almost every one of my old pieces, the eyes are misaligned. I can see it clearly now when they are misaligned. For me today, but boy, in the past, I could not. I could not tell until the piece was far too far along. Another piece I did not finish. Her eyes are linear. They're lined up. I don't know if the mouth and nose are, but everything else is. Those are shadows on her face. I should finish this piece. There's so many of these. I'm putting them into a pile as we're going that I do want to finish. Okie doke. Let's see, kiddos. This was, oops. This was another attempt at that cowboy lighting a cigarette one. This was like the rough attempt. And I think this might have even been an example of one that I did first and then did that second one later. And now I can't find where I put it. Right here. This was like, both turned out terrible, both in different areas. And yeah, turned out not great in different areas. But that doesn't matter because I feel as though I learned from each and every one of these things. Each and every one of them. Whoa. Let's see what else. This one I loved making. Still, the eyes are wrong. The eyes are wrong. I would have seen that for sure now, but I didn't see it then at all. It's because I didn't have the foundation. So it took me, 5 years to figure it all out. And that's 5 years of painting every day. So if you feel like you are taking a long time to learn or anything, if you're newer to watercolor portraits, please do not fear, do not fret, because it's taking me, I'm sure, quite a lot longer than you. And that always makes me feel better when it takes somebody else a little longer. All right, here's dog. I liked making this one. This was a commission. This was the practice piece for the commission. All right, what else do we have here? What else do we have here? Oh my goodness. Oh, I found an entire other sketchbook. This was also practice for something. These are pretty bad. This was an earlier piece. Just going to keep showing pieces, even though I've chased everyone out of the live stream, it would seem, with my beautiful artwork. Maybe we should look at some newer stuff. some newer, better things. What do we think, guys? Little piece, little piece. Very old, much older. I'll just keep on showing things until somebody makes a comment. Old piece, that's terrible. Oh my goodness. All right, let's go to this bushel of paintings, shall we? This was probably one of my second portraits. I showed you that first portrait I made. This was my second one. Just look how far we've come. All right, this is so embarrassing. This is one I quite enjoyed. Very much overworked. The eyes are very weird. Something strange is happening with the philtrum there. No, philtrum, is that what this part is called? But I did enjoy that one until I completely destroyed it. I think I like the neck thing, the part around her neck though. Let's see what else we have. What else do we have? Oh, this was cool. Again, out of alignment, but it was a face with a tree kind of growing through it. That is not obvious, but to my mind it was at the time. My strange art. Maybe I should have titled this Looking at My Strange Art. This is my front porch. Not a portrait, but fun nonetheless. Kind of came out colorful and interesting looking. Definitely enjoyed that one. And let's see what we have. I think a lot of my, oh, this is a little eye practice. Looking for something. Tulips. Any of you floral folks might enjoy that. Oh, I really want to share something with you. Where did, oh, one more second. It's all right. Guys, it's okay. It was just me. It was just mom, guys. Hang on. All right, let's take, oh, I'm stepping on everything. Hold on, hold the phone. All right, here we go. Pardon my leggings. All right, this is a floral I just made the other day, copying or from a tutorial by Jillian Boone on her floral channel, and a more recent portrait, just a quick sketch. We're getting a little bit more accurate with the eyes and whatnot. This was a video. This one here was a video. This one wasn't a video. That's just something from a long time ago. And, oh, this was fun the other day. Let's see. Working on my angles. It's an upward facing head. Yes, Evie, she is awesome. Her florals are so incredible, and I've been really watching her tutorials back slowly and just following each one, and I'm learning so much from them. For example, well, I'll get to it in just one sec. This one was one from Jillian. Jillian? Why is that now sounding weird to me? Hold on. Let me find it. Oh. This one. Roses. Have you seen this? I think this was Jillian. Have you, this was probably years ago, Evie, when she did this one. And they didn't turn out great, but I really like the colors. It was just a quickie. And then, let's see. What else? There was one more thing in here that I don't know. This wasn't, This was when I started really putting effort into my portraits and really trying to line up the the face and remind myself to check first. Twizzle, hey Twizzle, lovely to see you here. Um, the buds are so much easier than the open roses. That is for sure, Evie. That is for sure. I don't know if I've shown some of these. This was, do you guys remember when, what is her name? When she, I'm completely blanking on her name. The singer, Sinead O'Connor, when she passed away, I had listened to her all through my youth, and so when she passed away, I just needed to do some kind of a little homage to her, and so that was when I did this. That's one of my Doc Martens, and she was a ballet dancer in her youth, so that's a ballet slipper. And then there are words to some of her songs here. This is me stepping on a cig. I used to be a smoker. I used to go to shows and listen to bands, and um, really was into that alternative punk rock sort of scene as a youngster. And so some of that art there is exemplifying that. Oh, yes, she passed. I guess this would have been 3 years ago now, because that's when I did this sketchbook. This is a cat. It's one of those hairless cats. Anyway, yeah, it was very, she had such a rough time in her later life, like into her 40s and 50s. She was very mentally unwell, and notably so. And just made me very sad. Nice homage, what with the boot and slipper. I was a flip back in the day. Blah. A what? You were a what, Twizzle? I couldn't read it, and then it went off my screen. Please repeat if you don't mind. Another self-portrait. A blippy? What's a blippy? I don't think I've ever heard that term. Be right back. Okay, Abby. Thank you. Thanks for saying bye before you left, and hopefully you'll come back. This is a black hippie. I didn't know there was a distinction necessary. I mean, that's interesting. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't black, still not. Definitely was like between punk rock and hippie, like in all the ways. Um, those were the days. You know, it's so weird because back at that time, I would have said life life was so hard, and it was so, everything was so confusing to me, and I felt it was so difficult, and just getting through the day, nothing made sense. I'm very much like, I don't know, maybe autistic. I don't know what I am, but nothing ever makes sense to me. I'm always, until I met Jesus, and then everything started making sense. But at that time, I was always confused, but I was also always kind of having fun. And I don't think I would have said that then. Now, when I look back, I feel like if I knew then what I know now, and I could just live the life, I would have had a far better time and been far safer, but like had way more fun, you know? Because I was doing all the like fun things, but I don't think I was ever relaxed enough to really enjoy any of them. I don't know. I don't know. But I did love going to shows, and Lollapalooza and the Grateful Dead. I didn't follow the Grateful Dead around, but like when they came to town, I lived in the Bay Area and California. When they came to town, I was there. Um, this is a portrait that I did a while back. She's actually smiling, not grimacing. So there you go. Though I'm not sure you can tell that. Another portrait. At this point with these, this is when she looks real angry. But anyway, I don't think that was the intention. This point, things were starting to get a little bit easier for me art-wise. Here's another one of my hubby. Still, the colors are wrong. It looks like he has like uh, uh, what is the word for when you have dead skin? Why I'm been an RN for 26 years. I cannot remember. Eshar. Eshar. I'm back. Potty break. Okay, Evie. Thank you for telling us. We missed you. Um, it looks like he has Eshar on his nose, like black dying skin, like he had frostbite or something. Good guess, not edema, but good guess. Thank you for that. Thank you for playing. Yeah, the colors were weird, but the anatomy is better. The anatomy is better, and it looks more like him. So I don't know. This is my coffee jar downstairs. That's fun. Okay. And then a lot of these are just like swatches. This was a rose. Evie, you'll like this. Rose. Rose, anyone? A rose by any other name? Um, it's a little bit pedantic and stuff, but you know what? I was looking at this the other day and I was realizing if I did this today, I would know how to like fix all of the shadows. Like that shouldn't be a hard edge right there. And there should be a lot more darks. Everything is very much mid value here. That's why it kind of looks not so great. A lot of swatches here. Look at these colors, you guys. Oh, thanks, Abby. These colors are so beautiful. What's written on there? Okay, just the names. And I think this was my Daniel Smith palette, my first one, swatched together with different parts of the palette and some things alone. Little leaves. So again, this was 2023, 2024, and this is when I think my art was starting to like get better. This is Ernie. It would go like that. Ernie, my dachshund with flowers on him. It was obviously expressive, not realism. All right, let's see now. This one is, this was a portrait that I did actually for a video that I've taken down. Would you consider going over the rows and bringing all your acquired skill and knowledge to the rows? Yeah, I do that a lot. I like find older. I shouldn't. I know I shouldn't. I shouldn't do that. But I mean, I remember how it used to look. I mean, I would remember. I would definitely consider and I did consider with that rose going over it and making the changes that would make it like, oh, my glasses are red, that would make it better. I just didn't yet. But I'm not one of those that's like, once it's done, if it's in the past, I'm leaving it there. Because as you can see, I have 50,000 bins of art. No, it is okay to upgrade. Thank you. Thank you. I have all these bins of art, and so what if I do new things to it? I can see where I can bring it to today, you know? I know there are purists though that are like, once it's finished that day, or like once you call it finished, leave it in the past, make it anew from the beginning. And I don't think I feel like that. I might feel differently one day, but I don't know. You guys saw this one, maybe I put it up as a post on the channel recently. This was just a study. This is an older portrait, but not terribly old. I think it's kind of interesting looking. And then I showed you this floral. Love this one. This was from Jillian Boone's channel. And then I think I showed you guys all of these. What does anyone want to see? I don't know what else I have here. Here's an unfinished from like 2 years ago. that I need to go back and do. Sunflower, not not awesome, but I liked it for some reason. I think I was gonna go in and put leaves behind, and then again I didn't finish. Am I the only one who has so much unfinished art? I definitely finished certain pieces, but so many other pieces I feel like I just make to try to learn something from, and once I figure out whatever it is that I'm trying to learn, I stop painting. You know? This was from like 3 years ago. Does if anyone knows who this is, have you ever watched The Unexpected Gypsy? I have, Evie. Her channel's huge. Have you watched her? Obviously you have. I had 1 year when I just finished pieces. Like you did it, Twizzle, specifically just to make sure that if you started something, you finished it. Maybe I should do that. Ooh. But then I feel like I would paint less because if I knew I couldn't finish it, maybe I wouldn't paint. I don't know. I love her. Yeah, I do love her style. I love her art style. Just finish for the fun of it. Yeah. Okay. I, for the fun of it, would actually like to finish all these pieces. What I think happens is that I start the piece, I get it to a certain point, I either learn the thing I'm trying to learn from it, or the feeling that drew me to trying to like want to do this faded, and so I just call it good. Maybe I should go back and finish all these pieces. I don't know. Does anyone know who this is? I'm sure no one does. This was like I said, like 3 years ago portrait, right on the brink of like figuring out how to do portraits a little bit. She is a YouTube personality who I love. Caroline Winkler. Anyway, I should give her more, give her something better. Anyway, guys, this has been a very disorganized live stream, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. It didn't go very well. I've loved talking to you guys. I feel like I should have planned it better, and I apologize. But it's all right. Kind of got me digging through my art a little bit, and I got to show you guys some of it, show you where I started. I don't know, Evie, were you here for the beginning when I showed my first ever portrait? Because if not, I can show it to you again. That was sort of what got me thinking about doing all this, that and pulling out pieces to start cropping to do the artist trading cards, or the now I can't remember the name of them, the ACEOs or whatever they're called. But yeah, if you want to see it, you are too critical of your art. No, you weren't here, or no, don't show it again. No, don't show it again. I don't think I'm too critical of it. I mean, I show you. Okay, I'll show you in a second. I don't see it as like me bashing myself at all. The way I see it is that it served a purpose in the moment, and I'm very grateful for that. When I look back at it, I will show you. When I look back at it now, however, it's I can see all the flaws and things, so it's a little hard. But when I see other people, like if I was at that stage still, I would still like it, you know? Okay, this is the very first portrait I ever did. Ta-da. And it's not great. There's a lot wrong with it, but it was a great starting point. It literally took me like 3 days to do. I just looked and looked and looked and looked at that picture to try to figure it out, and I thought it was kind of like a one-to-one representation, and it wasn't. But okay, you did. But I learned from it, you know, and I respect that so much. I respect it. And I really don't see it as me being critical. But I'm sure it sounds that way, and I should be careful about that. So thank you for saying that. I should be careful about portraying it that way, because the last thing I ever want Yes, that it is that girl. It is that girl, Evie. I used to follow her long time ago, and I thought she was so pretty. Yep, it is her. Um, I do not follow her anymore. I haven't for years. But at the time, I was watching a lot of true crime stories, and unfortunately, and I just thought she had such an interesting look, and she was so pretty, and I wanted to paint her, so I did. And from there, I've painted a lot of people on YouTube. Yeah, her life fell apart. It sure did, sure did, and it's a difficult situation, Evie, of me for one. Like, I have a real thing with like parasocial relationships with people on YouTube, not in a creepy way, but just in like I develop a real affinity for people and like a love for them. Not that I assume that I know them or like genuinely am part of their life, but I listen hard when people talk and I listen to what they say and it matters to me. Um, and I could see where things were going for her, like so long before they did. And I was praying so hard for her, praying so hard that she wouldn't make the choices she was making, and the outcomes that happened, unfortunately, I feel um, tend to happen like that. And it's a real tragedy, especially for like, you know, the person who lost their life, in the situation. Anyway, that's not the issue here. But yeah, oh, yeah, which it's a compliment that I painted her. Yeah. I mean, I definitely at the time when I was watching her videos, I really thought she was very smart and had it really together. And just like all of us, though, she had a lot of demons, and I'm sure probably still does. And so I felt, so I can't like watch her videos anymore. Not that I watch any true crime anymore. Yeah, yeah, you knew who she was. Yeah. So anyway, but like it's been interesting, you guys. So I have to apologize again for being so disorganized. Oh, as I'm looking for something because I'm disorganized, my tissue. I have to apologize for being disorganized for this live stream, but I just wanted to come on and visit and start like pulling apart these paintings. But if you're watching, I will have a video out in the next, maybe by Friday, and if not, it'll be like early next week. And I have a couple in the works. So I feel like I'm getting things rolling again, slowly, God willing, and all in His timing. And oh, oh, good night, Evie. And don't be critical of your live stream. Okay, Evie, thank you. I will take that. I hope anybody that watched got anything out of it. And thank you guys for visiting. Twizzle, if you're still here, good night. I loved your input as well. And I suspect that Ike left. I probably chased him away with my comments about like if he ever wants help. But if I didn't chase you away, Ike, if you happen to still be here, um, thank you for watching. And to everybody else, I hope you have a wonderful night and we'll get together again soon. All right. Bye, guys. Now I have to figure out how to end it like I always do. I never know how to end this. Oh, there we go. Okay. Bye.